Stuart,
Yes.
uh, when you wake up in the morning and feel a significant download of energy, how would you recommend letting the energy settle and to integrate into your system?
Well, what I'd recommend, and it's almost necessary, is take 10 minutes, sit and meditate. Let it absorb inside you. Let it find a place inside you, and it's the best way. Even just lie in bed, listen to your breathing. Let the energy absorb inside you before you get up and start getting busy with everything. And the energy will find a home. And it's basic conservation, it's basic conservation. And it should be the same thing after these classes. Take 10 minutes, relax, let everything absorb inside. You owe it to yourself. I owe it to myself. We all owe it to ourselves because we all need energy. And if we don't get that energy, you understand? I mean, we wind up living off our tension or anxiety or fear or insecurity, stuff like that. So have a little patience and just say, okay, I feel a lot of energy. Let me try to absorb that energy. Let me try to allow that energy to absorb itself in my chakra system. And it takes 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes to do this, and then get up and take care of what you got to take care of and do it. Don't do it with this kind of freakish, being busy kind of energy. Just do what you got to do, relaxed and calm and, you know, open to the higher force to continue to nurture you during the day.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Larry. Does anyone else have a question? I mean, people are so busy in this world being busy. I mean, they're just busy. And and then you wonder, what are they so busy about? Just it's nervous tension, it's nervous energy. They have to get rid of it. So they're, doing all this stuff all the time. And instead of just relaxing, absorbing the energy, let it become part of the chakra system. Let it really build you inside, develop a sense of conservation and responsibility because how many we're going to go to have classes like this, and even a good night's sleep. Just having responsibility for that, letting that energy absorb inside. Does anyone else have a question? Okay. I've been announcing it all week. I'll announce it once again. On Sunday, there won't be a class. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'm going to try to absorb 2023 in those 4 days. I mean, this has been a really intense year, really, really intense year on so many levels. I've never been through, well, I have been through equally as intense, but this one was particularly strong. I need to absorb it, and I need to come into the next year bringing the best that I can possibly bring to these meditation classes as I serve a higher force by transmitting the shock. So take 3, 4 days and just let it assimilate. The next class will be on Thursday, next Thursday. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? There's also a retreat next month. I mean, I know many of you live very far from here, but if you get a hankering, I mean, somebody's coming from Brazil, another person from Israel. If you get a hankering to come to Rudy Samadhi retreat, let me know, because it's kind of filled up. I think there's a couple of spaces left, and if you want to come, let me know. Does anyone else have a question? Really try to prepare for the new year. Try to prepare for the end of this year, to let go of, a lot of the tension from this year, so you can open and truly embrace the new as it comes to your life. And, we should do that every day, never mind just waiting till, December 31st. I mean, literally every day is, I mean, somebody sent me a Christmas card and there was a picture of this little baby, an infant, I mean, probably born like a month ago, wrapped up in some Tibetan, outfit with, with these different quotations. One of them was from, the Buddha, if you do today well, tomorrow's going to be good. Something like that. I have a quote like that in my book, actually, but it was something very similar to that, and it's true. If we're truly present, living in the now, the sacred moment that we live in, and doing it with consciousness, uh, there'll never be a problem with tomorrow. But if we don't do this moment well, tomorrow's going to be difficult, because it's going to be, it's not going to be done well. So the whole job is to get up in the morning and do life well, consciously, openly, with love, with compassion, with, because we spend so much time worrying about tomorrow. Tomorrow's come. Tomorrow is come. We've all had many thoughts about, and we're here now, in the now, and tomorrow. So let's truly understand how sacred this moment is, and be conscious of this moment, and do it with an open heart, with love, caring for people that are close to us. I mean, today, this moment is the new year. It's Genesis. It's the creation of everything takes place in this moment. Does anyone else have a question you'd like to ask?
Yes, Stuart, it's Luc.
Yes.
I had the question and I forgot all about it because I thought maybe I had an answer. But what you just said reminded me of the question again, so I still want to ask it. If I am living in the moment, life is always bringing me something to do.
Yes.
I see a need somewhere and I just go into it.
Yes.
But also there is something that I want to do for myself. I want to do some creative work and maybe start a business and make some money with it. But it never seems to be the moment, because always something else is coming.
Look, that's the moment. The moment you start the business, that's the moment.
I always seem to have something else to do.
Well, then sometimes you gotta surrender that something else and do something like, well, you want to start a business. I mean, look, look, my life isn't as busy now as it used to be. But in the, my 50s and 40s, even 60s, I mean, I was, I mean, you want something done, give it to a busy guy. I had so much going on in my life. And on top of it, running a business and teaching meditation classes all over the world and retreats, and it was endless, endless. Every single one of those things I did in the moment that I had to do it. And all of it worked. It all worked out. So I don't worry about that. Just focus on what you want to do and what you have to do to grow. And if you need to generate money, then start a business and generate money.
Mhm.
I mean, life forced me to, I never, look, when I was younger, I never was interested in money. In my
Yeah.
20s, never. I just simply just didn't want to be bothered with the madness of the business world.
Mhm.
And I wound up in Texas running an ashram with something like 15, to begin with, 10, 15 people living in this house. They had to eat, rent had to be paid. Suddenly I had to learn how to make money. And it was very important that I learned that. I mean, as I told you, I went to Texas, I had $30 in my pocket. I had nothing, you know? And I said, okay, Stuart, you got to start generating some money. People have to eat, rent has to be paid, we got to work, we got to. So I was driving with a student of mine, and we came to this farm, and we stopped, and we met this guy who had 6 barn loads or something of furniture, old furniture he wanted to get rid of. And I had decided I wanted, I said, what do you want for all this stuff? He said, $30. It's exactly what I had in my pocket. I couldn't believe what I brought with me from New York to Texas. I was suddenly in business. I'm refinishing, fixing, doing that, and the thing grew. I suddenly had trucks, and I mean, I once owned a 40-foot one of these big tractor trailer trucks that I was hauling stuff around the United States. I mean, it just grew out of nothing, simply because I said, Stuart, you got to do something to generate. And then I discovered money wasn't something even material. Unless you made it that, money was just energy. That's all it is. It's energy. And it depends on how you use it. And I've always used any money I've made for a spiritual life, in order to make it possible for myself and other people. And even today, where I'm not as busy as I used to be, but the little money I have gives me time to do this. The donations people make, help me pay the rent, and so I can sit here and do this. Otherwise I'd have to go drive a taxi cab, or instead of sitting here and doing this with people all over the world.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? So it comes when necessity requires you to do something. The universe finds a way to make it happen for you. It's like Rudy told me. I told you the story a billion times. He said, he came to Texas, right? And I had set up 4 ashrams for him, a prison program, university program. I mean, it was unbelievable what was going on. I was teaching 2 meditations a day, and boom. And he said, you're not working hard enough. He told me. So I looked at him. I said, what do you want me to do? He said, buy that building. I've told you this story a million times. And it was a shopping center, for God's sake. I said, Rudy, I have $600 to my name. He said, anyone could do it with money. A month later, I bought the building. I became the owner of a shopping center. Well, not me, but the ashram became the owner of a shopping center. We built a restaurant. We had a grocery store there. I had an antique business there. I mean, it was unbelievable. Then a bakery started, and we bought the building with I mean, if I would have stayed in Denton, Texas, I'd be worth $300 million today, minimum. But then I realized that was not what I wanted with my life. I needed something more. And when Kala Rinpoche told me in India, I asked him, should I leave Texas? He said, yes. If you leave Texas, your teachings, And he didn't even know what I taught. Your teachings would be known all over the world. That's what he told me. 6 months later, I left Texas. I left all that behind. I'm telling you, I could be worth $300 million today if I would have stayed there. I went back to New York, started over. I opened an antique store with all my Oriental art that I had. And this thing, within a year, I was teaching all over the world. I mean, it was exactly what he said happened. And I had to run a business. And honestly, the only business I could have possibly run to do what I was doing was an art business, because it gave you a lot of time to do all these other things. Plus, I was able to earn a very, very good living doing it. Not saying that you should go in the art business, but I'm saying, it comes to you if you make a commitment. The universe takes care of you.
Yes. I have enough money to live, to sustain my life, to pay the rent and so on. But if I want, for instance, if I want to come to your retreat, I will need a lot more.
Well,
So,
make a commitment to come to the retreat. It will come to you.
Yes. I understood.
And don't be afraid of that. It will come to you. I mean, another story. Okay, I remember I was living in Texas. I'm running an ashram. I have 20 students living in the house there with people, and we all decided we were going to go to New York to visit Rudy. We decided that like about 6 or 8 of us were going to drive up there in a truck or a van, whatever it was. And I had to contribute $40 to do this. I didn't have a nickel to my name at that time. I was broke, completely broke. This is a true story. And I'll never forget, I was running this kind of junky antique store out of that house that we had there. And at 7:30 in the morning, about 2 hours before we were going to leave, a guy comes onto the porch of my store and he said, "Stuart, I know you're going to leave today, but I've been thinking about this piece of furniture and I would like to buy it from you. How much is it?" I said, $40. He gave me, I went to New York. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when you have faith in your spiritual practice, the universe takes care of you. And you learn how to make money. You learn how to do all these things. It's really true.
Yeah.
I can only talk for my own life. It takes care of you.
So it's a matter of faith.
It's not even faith. It's just living in the moment and doing your life and being committed to what you're doing. And then they come all the time. Things come that make it possible for you to do your life. I mean, because what I love about this practice, it's not a practice to go live in an ashram or a monastery or, it's a practice where the world, life is your temple. Life is the temple. And life is constantly teaching us what we need to learn, including making money and living and doing, having relationships and family and marriages and all this stuff. It's all life, and none of it is negated. It's all part of the education of what we need to learn to grow. And I love that about this.
Yes.
I mean, I got an email yesterday from somebody. This is really true. And my boyfriend is in prison. Listen to this story. He's in prison and he's reading a book that you wrote called Navigating the River of Time. And he's so completely taken with the book, he would like to know if he could write you and talk to you and learn what you teach. I mean, it brought a tear to my eye. How did he get my book? Anyway, so I wrote back his girlfriend a letter and explaining her what we should do. And okay, then she got back to me and I gave her my address and tell him to get in touch with me. I mean, I spent many years teaching people in prisons, and I have a lot of empathy for people that live under those circumstances. It's horrible. You know? And so many of them were there for drugs, and I mean, look, I'm not a fan. I don't think drugs are very healthy for anybody, but I also don't believe that people should go to jail for them. I mean, it's just stupid to send people to jail because of marijuana and all this stuff, you know? So I'm 100% against drugs, and I'm 100% against people going to jail for them. There has to be another way for them to get over that problem. Because I met so many people at 10 years for marijuana and when I was teaching in these places, you know? But then this person gets in touch with me. I mean, it brought a tear to my eye. It was worth writing the book just for that experience, to help somebody, you know?
Great. Thank you.
Does anyone else have a question? Okay, Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Bless you. I am looking forward to seeing everybody next Thursday. So God bless you all, and have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful Christmas and Hanukkah, a wonderful everything.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank
Well, I'll
you.
see you before the new year.
Thank you, Stuart.
Really? Okay. Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Next week.
Bye bye.